Hey guys, wanted to show you my new Ontario Ranger Assault Knife, or RAK. Picked this thing up, it was around 50 bucks I think on Amazon. I wanted a kind of designated bug out bag survival type knife, so I picked this one up because I figured this is something I won't bring camping or hiking or bring in the woods for bushcraft. It's something I want to keep in good shape for the bug out bag. That way it's still, in good shape. It's not beat up or having to worry about it being half over with its life. So I bought this just to designate as that. So consider this more of a just tabletop, like show and tell rather than a real review, because this thing does not have much use on it aside from a little bit of light carving I did just to test the edge and the edge retention, and I did a little bit of real light batoning of like 2x4s just to see how it felt in the hand, the shock, stuff like that. So not a ton of use, just putting it out there that this is really more just kind of a quick tabletop as opposed to anything else. So the numbers, we got 1095 carbon steel blade, 12 inches overall with a 5-inch edge, and weight is about 12.3 ounces. So you are coming in at 3/4 of a pound there. Comes with a very typical nylon sheath from Ontario. Comes with 2 snaps, a little front pocket for putting sharpening stones and stuff like that, and molle in the back. It's got a belt loop as well. Plastic insert in there as well so that you don't have to worry about cutting through the nylon. So just wanted to show you that. It's a bit bulky and a bit big, but it is something you can definitely hook onto your molle gear for your bug out bag if you are using that. Micarta handles, really nice finger choil in there. Pretty wicked looking pommel on there as well with a hole for a lanyard. I went through a lot of different knives for a bug out bag option, including Becker's and Essays and various other manufacturers. And what I thought about is, number one, I wanted a knife that was 1095 steel. I'm very familiar with it. I know its capabilities. It's very easy to sharpen, and I like it. I mean, I think it's a fantastic steel, and it's so easy to sharpen, it's so easy to deal with, and the edge retention is really good. So that was kind of a one for me. It had to be that. I wanted something that was bigger in size, probably about 10-12 inches, so I could do a little light chopping if I needed to, but not too big where it would be unwieldy. So I wanted that kind of range where I wanted 10 to 12 inches, a little weight to it. That way if I got to chop, I got to dig, I got some weight to put behind it. The last thing, of course, I wanted is it had to be full tang, a true full tang. So this thing, as you can see, is full thickness and length, full tang. So micarta handles, which are held in with hex screws, so you can replace them or make your own as you see fit, which makes it very easy to deal with. So I may round that off a little bit, guys. I don't know. I don't know if I'll ever use it, so I feel like I might round it off just to make it a little easier so it doesn't get trapped on gear. We got a little jimping, little thumb ramp in the back. Of course, you have 2 holes when it comes to holding this. One would be your normal, like if you were chopping or whatever, you would use it like that. And then you have a choked up grip that you can do, which is really good for fine carving and delicate tasks. The edge comes right up there to your finger, so you can get right in close, and it takes about half of the weight off of that blade. So when you are using it like this and doing carving, it actually holds very well and gives you a lot of control. For a big knife, this has a lot of control and a lot of precision that you can use with it. The edge stays pretty much full thickness all the way down to the very end of the tip. The grind appears to be fairly well. The tip you can see is a little bit off center, not much. Nothing to worry about, just a little tiny bit. The secondary bevel starts in here and then goes down to the final edge. Now this is almost a full flat grind. This is a very subtle bevel, so you can see, you can barely see it. You can barely see that line. So this is almost like a full flat grind. It's very, very close. Very close. I do like it because that extra little bit of thickness I think helps a little bit when it comes to splitting wood and batoning. You just get that little bit of a extra thickness there, a little bit of a ramp that kind of helps separate the wood a little bit. You know, is it the best? No, you know, I think there's a lot of other knives out there that are better at batoning. But, you know, I didn't get this knife just to baton. I wanted something that was going to be tough, rugged, good steel, good shape, good balance, and also fit well with molle gear for a bug out bag. So the choices, you know, the choices were not good unless you wanted to spend a lot of money. This is probably one of the more economical choices that I could possibly make. It has kind of a, I don't know if you call it a spear point or a drop point. I think it's more of a spear point, so I'll call it that, but some might say it's a drop point. So it's also good, you know, it is a defensive tool as well. It is got that little bit of a curved belly to it. So if you are doing any slicing or carving or anything like that, that little bit of belly will help you out, especially when you're skinning and things like that. I definitely prefer a spear point knife. It lets you get in there, so if you got to cut little bits of like meniscus and stuff like that that are kind of stuck in little pockets, you can get in there with that tip and just make those little kind of little cuts with them, you know. But overall, you got that little bit of belly there too, so if you are, you know, you got a little bit of everything with this guy. A little bit of everything. I do like it. The pommel, of course, you could use as a striking implement, so if you are using it in a defensive manner, you have that as well. The overall, it's a really good feel, really good construction knife. This is a really tough guy. It's very well reviewed on the internet. I know Ontario did have some issues with their heat treat a couple of years back, and that really kind of hurt their reputation. But I have not seen a knife come out, or at least anyone that's posted to a forum, that's had issues with the heat treat in quite a while. It was quite a few years back, so I kind of feel like they're past that. And once again, it's a USA made, American made product right here in New York in the southern tier. These guys have been around forever, major supplier for the military. This is actually, I believe, my 4th Ontario. So I'm very familiar with them and their capabilities. I rely on the brand. I think the SP series are absolute dynamite, high value knives. But this one just, you know, a little more comfort, a little bigger, a little more better form. So I thought it would make a fantastic bug out knife. And I'm going to do a little more testing with it, you know, just to see, you know, test its capabilities a little bit more, and then it's going away. Like I said, I want to keep it new, I want to keep it fresh. You know, if this is something I want to depend on, I don't want to, you got to remember, every time you baton with a knife, you can create little tiny stress fractures in that blade. And even the best knife, I don't care how much you pay, what, you know, magic, you know, steel of the week it is, you can create stress fractures in steel from repeated pounding on it. That's just a fact of life. It's metallurgy. So the more you take and abuse something like this, the more of a chance down the line you have of that thing breaking. So I don't want to thoroughly test it. I don't think people can say, oh, you got to test your gear though. Yes, that's very true, but at the same time, at what expense? You know, if you take away half of that blade's life testing it, you know, do you really want that? No, I want the full lifetime of this item, so I'm keeping it as good as possible. So any batoning I do will be softer woods and things like that, not free, you know, soft woods, just to make sure this thing stays good. But then again, you know, this isn't. Its designated purpose is not to baton wood. It's a multi-purpose, you know, knife that can do a little bit of everything. So there it is, guys. The Ontario RAK going into the bug out bag. Just had to do a little show and tell on it before it goes, because I'm not going to do any major testing on it. So it's better, I guess, just to get this filmed and get it out of the way.